Hi, this is Dani, and the channel is You and Me Living Free. I want to talk to you today about this summer of 2021, the unique challenges that present us as travelers this summer, and some of the things that I am doing to combat those challenges. So we've got more people than ever out there. That everybody's been cooped up for 18 months or so, right? So everybody wants to get out. Everybody's buying RVs. Everybody's hitting the roads. The national parks have record attendance. They have for years now. It's been building and building, but this year we see more restrictions with all the timing and the registration and the points and the appointments and all of that. So we have more people out here, more people at the national parks than ever before, record numbers. We also have a ton of wildfires. There's a lot of drought. There is excessive heat, which brings us to the third thing. So you've got the wildfires, and not just the fires, but the fires making everything hazy, making the skies out west literally hazy, state to state to state, as I watch my other YouTubers, as I watch the news and the app that I have, or the website that I have that I'm tracking the wildfires and things. And as I'm just driving around from the Rockies to the Yellowstone area, this haze in the air from the wildfires, and then the heat. How are we dealing with the heat? With the minivan, I don't have a magic fan or a whatever cut in the ceiling. I would like to get a hole cut in the ceiling and go ahead and get a fan, fantastic fan or whatever, put in, so that I know that will help with the ventilation and everything. Until then, I'm just doing what I can for heat. It's a work in progress, but I've got a couple extra solutions that I'll share with you. I think that's the third segment. So let's get to it. We'll just go through what I'm doing to combat these three things: the crowds and the haze and the heat. The crowds, the haze, and the heat. So let's get to it. Okay, let's talk about this haze that is just kind of, it's a filter that everything I look at, I feel like I'm looking through this filter of haze, this filter that obscures things and makes all the detail kind of disappear. This is me originally driving into the park, and I have to say I was a little disappointed. Like, this is the first time I'm seeing it, and I can tell how majestic it would be, but I can't really see it well enough. And this is a little bit closer, so it's a little bit better. But what I did is two things. Number one, I just started to think about the people who have homes and have property and have their lives who are being threatened by these fires. I started to think about the wildlife and how it's affected and our environment. I started to think about the firefighters, and really my concerns became smaller and seemed kind of more petty. So that really just helped me shift my perspective, which is so important. The other thing I decided is the Tetons are known for their views, but if I'm not going to get the best views, then I'm going to concentrate on things that are closer, that I can control. In other words, if I can't see good at a distance, this is a couple of days later, and actually you can see a little bit better because we had some rain and it cleared things up a little. But I thought, if I can't see the spectacular views from a distance, let me really dig in there. Let me appreciate things that are right in front of me. And this is me doing part of the Jenny Lake Trail. I did not do the whole loop. The whole loop was about 8 miles. So that is way beyond me. I had kind of high hopes of actually doing it because I watched a YouTuber and he was like, oh, it's mostly flat. It's a really easy trail. And I was cracking up as I was actually walking it because it's not a flat trail. If someone is in marvelous shape and completely amazing, and this guy he does amazing hikes and stuff. So he's in super, super, super fit shape. But it cracks me up. Just pay attention to who you're listening to, and an easy hike for some may not be for others. But I just took the time to decide that I would appreciate what was close to me if the views weren't going to be as spectacular. And what was close to me hiking and walking and really being in the nature. And also, I love being by lakes and creeks and rivers and oceans. I love that water. So anytime that I'm cruising around and I'm close to the water, I'm super happy. Another thing that I don't have to worry about the haze is just talking to people, like being on the trail. Someone was nice enough to take this picture for me after I finished this hike. You can see how sweaty I am. But just talking to people, just being out there, just enjoying the interaction, that really helped too. Okay, now we're skipping to the busy part. Oh, these parks are busy. Okay, and the video is already showing you the crowds. This is just leading up to Jenny Lake South entrance. There's a junction here, and at the junctions they have gas and the convenience store and maybe even a lodge at this one. And so it's a big gathering. They have maybe even a restaurant at this one too, and restrooms. So it's a big gathering place. It's also a very popular trail in the park. This was at about 1 in the afternoon. We haven't even seen the junction, and if you look over to the left where I'm gonna pan, that is all the people. There's another huge line. You can't even see the junction from here. That's how many people are here. But this is at 1 in the afternoon. When I went to do when I was gonna do the trail, I went at 7 in the morning. That's the first thing about crowds. They'll go 9 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 1 o'clock. But get there early, it's a must. The other thing is I didn't always hike the most popular trails. I was also open to going to things that might not be the most popular. And if I did want to do the popular, I just got up early, and that really helped with the crowds. Also, I make sure I'm always really gassed up so I don't have the pressure of having to go to a convenience store or a gas station, and I can pick and choose my times. Okay, can you guess what we're ready to talk about now? Record heat. I do a lot of my planning around where it's going to be cool and where I'm going to go, because if it's 85 and up outside, I literally cannot be in my van. And that is no matter how good my cooling off, no matter what kind of strategies I have, they don't work well enough. So I have to take other measures. So here's a picture of the van. This great big billowing silver thing you see is actually one of those solar blankets that people use to keep themselves warm, like in the winter. It is super thin, and I just put it up with my magnets. Across the back here is it's actually a snow cover made for a windshield. And back here, I'm just showing you reflectics that I have inside. And then in front, I have just a regular sunshade that everybody has for their cars. So a couple of the new things that I did are, here are the emergency blankets, those silver blankets that I was showing you. And I just used magnets to attach it to the side of the car. And then lastly, here is the listing from Amazon of the windshield snow cover. And I actually bought one for the front and one for the back of the car. I was only using the back in that picture because that's where the sun was streaming, but I have one for front and one for back. Okay, every once in a while in a video, I don't really have enough clips or enough pictures to show while I'm doing the voiceover to talk about what I want to talk about. Anyway, I think those are the two new things that I did this trip. The reflectics, I think almost everybody does that. And I watched the Cheap RV Living, I watched Bob Wells do a live about heat and how people beat the heat. And so the solar blanket was one of those ideas. Plus, I got the idea for the windshield cover. Nobody mentioned a windshield cover. I don't know if anybody else is. I'm sure some people are, but I haven't heard of anybody doing the snow windshield cover to keep the heat out. But when Bob was doing his talk about the heat, he said, you know, even better than putting the reflectics inside your window is to put it outside and get to the heat, reflect that heat before it ever gets actually into the vehicle, even if it's only right there. And so what I found with the snow cover for the windshield and also the solar blankets is that it is noticeably cooler even when I have the reflectics up. It's noticeably cooler. Now, I ordered a temperature, a little thermometer that I can put in the car, and I can kind of see the difference with and without, and I can let you know how the blankets are holding up. I see that one blanket from my magnets already has a little tear in it, so I should probably tape that, but I don't know how they're going to withstand the elements and stuff, but they were so cheap. I got 4 blankets for I think $10 or $11. So, I mean, possibly it would be something I could replenish and I could keep buying. Anyway, I think that kind of wraps things up a little bit. I don't think there's anything else that needs to be said that I can think of right now. So thank you so much for watching another video, and I will see you next time.